Welcome to Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky, and I'm here with Jess Perkins and Matt Stewart. Hi, guys.
Hi, Dave. Warnicky.
Hey, Dave.
Say it, Matt.
Warnicky.
Thank you. Great to be
Say
here.
it. Say my name.
Say my name. How are we doing?
Feeling pretty good. Had a big old meal.
And plenty of feels.
I've always got too many feels.
Too many feels.
For being honest.
It's going to be an emotional episode. That was a big meal we just shared. Oh, my God.
Oh my God, I'm so emotional.
Matt, you doing well over there?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for asking. Thanks so much about that.
How was your meal?
It's really good when you check in with me like that because sometimes I just like someone to check in and connect with me, and I feel like I've done that there. Jess too. Thank you, Jess. Hey, Jess. Really love to know. Thanks for the physical touch. I'd love to know how you're doing.
Well, I mean, do you want just the answer I would give a barista if they said, hi, how you going? Or do you want me the truth?
Do I look like a barista to you?
Kind of.
Yes, with that fucking beard.
Kind of.
I've never, baristas don't have beards like this. That is such a weird cliche.
You're right.
All the baristas I go to, baristas, they, often they're ladies and sometimes they're beardless men. I'd say maybe 1 in 5.
Okay. Is beardless.
Bearded barista.
So then, in answer to my question, you just want me to answer you as a friend?
Yeah, as a friend.
So how am I?
As a confidant.
As a confidant? With your je ne sais quoi?
Yeah, that's
Tout appel comment? I'm pretty good.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Two-day coup d'etat.
2 day coup d'etat. 2 day coup d'etat. I'm pretty well. I'm a little tired. It's been a big few weeks.
Oh, you keep banging on. You've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah, I'm always tired. But otherwise, I'm pretty great. Thanks so much for checking in.
I wish we'd gone with the barista answer. I really do.
No,
what
I would
your
say the
barista
same.
answer have been?
I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. It's been a long, big couple of months. They're like...
Hence I need the coffee, you dumb bitch.
Right, I see.
They didn't say, how are you?
It would also include your coffee order. That would be the only difference.
Yeah.
Make me a skinny latte. Stat. 1 sugar. Thank you.
Ah, okay. Skinny latte, 1 sugar. Got it. Coming right up.
Anyway, so it's Dave's turn.
It is my turn.
Educate us, David.
To educate you on a topic. We're going to start with a question. This one's pretty opinion-based.
Okay.
Ooh.
Before you do, I want to say I reckon I get more of these right than anyone else, so I'm feeling good about this.
We should go back and try and mark it up on the board, see how we're doing.
I got Y2K, but I was very impressed with that
you
one.
did get that.
Because you just said virus.
Yes. Dave
And
was
so-
really going down
I was thinking cholera, AIDS.
And then I finally
all kinds of
cracked the
things.
code.
You cracked it.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, we should go back and find out. So you reckon you're going in confident.
I'm pretty good at this.
Now you fucked it. Go for it, Dave.
All right, question is, this is like really opinion-based, like I said, who is the second most famous scientist of all time?
So Einstein's number 1.
That's why I went number 1. There's
Second most famous.
There's heaps, depending on...
Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Real person.
We've already done.
real person.
We've already done.
Unbelievably, we've already done a whole episode on Back to the Future.
Rick from
Scientist.
Rick and Morty. Oh no, you said real person.
Honey,
person?
I Shrunk the Kids.
Real
Okay, no.
person.
Oh.
This-
Pinky in the Brain.
You know what this has become? This has become. Can Matt and Jess name a second scientist?
I know. Hey. Okay.
You've spotted what
Yeah.
I was trying to do there.
Cover it up with a joke, but you only know Einstein and no one else.
All I can think of is like,
what about the guy who figured out the milk can be boiled?
Edison.
See, that's the ambiguous part is whether
Alexander Graham Bell.
Ah, yeah,
I would say there were more
inventors, something like that.
inventors.
What's
Okay,
the, is it the
fucking
milk? What's the
picky.
milk guy's name? He figured out pasteurization. His
Who-
name was Louis Pasteur.
Who
Is
had
that
the
him?
I want to say, okay, how about who is the most famous?
Famous,
Who is the most famous
Isaac Newton?
Oh,
female scientist of all time? I didn't want to have to put that
Marie
caveat
Curie.
in there.
Callista
It is
Flockhart.
Marie Curie.
Fuck you, Matthew.
Do you know who got that? Jess Perkins 1-0. And
It's
since
because you got cocky, you
we've never
dickhead.
counted before.
Also, I guessed Callista Flockhart because I panicked.
Also, Marie Curie,
Yes, Jess.
left-handed.
Boom! It all comes back.
Boom.
That's
and
what-
I'm gone.
Well, you're gone because Matt's gone. You're 1-0 up, and we haven't counted any others, so you are the winner.
My next guess was going to be Marie Curie.
No, it wasn't.
You're the kind of
You
guy.
said Callista Flockhart.
You're the kind of
panicked,
guy-
But once I collected my thoughts.
Every time Jess gets one, you immediately think, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. God.
You try and claim that.
Such a misogynist.
Do you guys know anything?
Just like you're a misogynist and Dave's a Nazi sympathizer, and I'm just a little angel over
He's
here.
not a misogynist. He's a homogenist or a pastoral. Not a milk joke. That was a milk.
No. The homogenist was good enough.
Thank you.
You
I'll leave
nailed
it there.
it.
Do you guys know much about Marie Curie?
Left-handed. Discovered penicillin?
No.
Discovered, invented.
That's Fleming.
Nothing to do with penicillin.
Nothing to do with penicillin.
I thought she had something to do with penicillin.
No.
She did a lot of great stuff.
Can you edit that out? No, don't.
She did a lot of great work in the 1800s.
Was a woman.
Was a woman.
Was a woman.
Still.
First name
woman.
started with M.
She's not still a woman. She's a ghost now.
Well, a
Ghosts don't
ghost
have-
woman.
Ghosts don't have sex.
Don't they? They don't have genders.
But they do
Or
have
genders.
sex. They have orgies.
I thought mine would have sex.
Ghost orgy.
Ghost
Da,
sex.
da, da, da,
But they don't have
da,
it with
da.
each other. They have it with you while
Ghost
you're
orgy.
sleeping.
The way I understand it is, I don't know anything about any scientist.
The
by
way I
but
understand
the
it
way
is-
I understand it
It's
is,
gonna be-
Marie Curie is like she probably is should be more famous than she is.
Nothing to do with penicillin, really.
That's how famous she is. Jess thinks that she's.
I thought she had something with penicillin. Well, as soon as you tell me what she did, I'm going to be like, oh.
Okay, I'm going to tell you all about it. I've got the.
She did lots of things though. It wasn't one big thing. It
Well,
wasn't-
no, many. She is one of the most impressive women I've ever read about.
But to be...
and most
just to-
impressive people, I should say.
Just
Yeah.
to confirm, no penicillin.
No.
Penicillin will not be mentioned.
Did she ever take penicillin?
No, it was not around yet.
Did she discover the cure for meats?
She cracked the code.
Sorry, what was so great was his face was so satisfied, and then we high-fived.
It was going to be.
I wasn't sure where I was going. You
'Cause it
know, I like
started-
starting a sentence and seeing where it goes.
But you look so sincere, and then it was like I got out of that with a joke. Zing.
As soon as you start to talk, there's going to be some point along here where I'm going to go, that's what it was.
Penicillin. No.
But like, I'll have been thinking of the other thing. It's basically my way of being able to get out of it.
She's discovered something to beginning with P. I'll tell you that much. But it's not.
Pastrami.
Pens. Pastrami.
She
Excuse me.
she discovered pens. She
Something
found one
like
in a volcano. We'll
Pirates of Penzance. She wrote Pirates of Penzance.
Yes.
That's right. Gilbert and Sullivan and Marie Curie. That's what they're called.
That was her pen name.
It's Gilbert and Sullivan. Too many
You just keep high-fiving.
high fives.
No such thing.
Oh, do you want me to tell you about it?
Nah.
Nah, let's move on. All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Good episode.
Catch you later.
Quick
Now,
one,
please,
good one.
let's hear about.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Love to hear
Okay.
about penicillin.
Well, we're about to. 2 hours of penicillin facts coming up.
Penicillin.
Marie Curie was born in Warsaw, the then Russian partition of Poland, on November the 7th, 1867. You're right about 1800s there, Matt?
1867. What a good year for wine, cheese, and Marie Curie.
Oh, put them together. What do you got? A lethal combo.
And
A great party.
delicious, delicious entree.
You leave them out overnight.
With
leave them
some
out.
cured meats.
Yeah, leave them out overnight. What do you got? Penicillin.
Really?
That's how they got penicillin from mold. Anyway, her birth name. That's true. Her birth name was Maria Sklodowska.
Sklodowska.
great.
Sklodowska.
name.
It's a great Polish name. She was the youngest of 5 children, born to 2 very intellectual teachers.
Oh.
She's got a smart family.
Not too even mistaken for dumb teachers.
Yeah.
No.
Really stressed intellectual there.
No, but they were very intellectual people. But
They were very intellectual pig farmers.
it's like my librarian pig farming mum.
Call back to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll even leave that in. Both sides of her parents' families had lost their property and fortunes through their patriotic involvement in Polish national uprising.
She invented Poland. That's the P word I was
She
thinking of.
invented Well, that's actually very close to what the answer is going to be.
Nail polish.
My God, Polish and polish are the same fucking word. Oh my God. How are we meant to know if you're meant to be polishing or if you're polishing? Oh my God. Actual mind blown. So, well,
I'm going to keep guessing.
they lost their property and fortunes through involvement in Polish or Polish national uprisings. Now I can't tell you. I read this. No one told me this.
Who knows?
They were trying to restore Poland's independence from Russia. The most recent uprising occurred 2 years before she was born. So their financial situation was very difficult. Her father, this is going to be very difficult to pronounce, but it's Wladyslaw Skladowski.
Wladyslaw.
It is Wladyslaw. Wladyslaw.
I love it.
Great
Wladyslaw.
name, Ladyslaw.
Ladyslaw.
Make me hungry.
He taught
For ladies.
Ladyslaw.
And coleslaw.
Ladyslaw taught mathematics and physics and subjects that Maria was to pursue. He was also the director of 2 Warsaw gymnasia for boys. And gymnasia is a school with strong emphasis on academic learning in Europe. Disappointingly, nothing to do with gymnastics.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I was disappointed.
Aww.
But after Russian authorities limited laboratory instruction from Polish schools, he brought home most of his lab equipment and instructed his children how to use it.
Oh, cool.
He wanted his daughters to be as educated as his sons, which is not as common as we're about to find in this day. The father was eventually fired by his Russian supervisors for having pro-Polish sentiments.
Or pro-Polish.
Or pro-Polish sentiments.
We're not sure.
You never know. And he was forced to take lower-paying jobs. The family also lost money on a bad investment and eventually chose to supplement their income by lodging boys in their house. They just let people stay with them. Maria's brother, Bronislaw, such good names.
He sounds like a dinosaur.
Bronislaw, no, that's the mother. That's a woman. Bronislaw.
You said brother.
No,
mother.
Did I say brother?
Yeah.
Maria's mother, Bronislaw, operated a prestigious Warsaw boarding school for girls. She resigned from this position after Maria was born, but she died of tuberculosis in 1878 when Maria was just 10 years old. So not a great start for Mari. Not a great start. She was unable to enroll into any Polish universities because she was a woman.
Also she was applying for the Polish universities. I just want to paint fingernails.
That is a man's job. So she and her sister Brony started.
You know what brony means? It means it's male fans of the My Little Ponies.
Yeah, bronies.
Bros that like ponies.
Yes,
that's
exactly
a real thing.
it.
It's a big thing.
Is that fucking true?
It's
That's
fucking
true.
It's so great. Bronies, and they're obsessed with My Little Pony. Bronies love
ponies. It's a big.
Ponies.
It's like a big
they
sub.
Like My Little Pony.
It's like a subculture thing. But yeah, they're if you go online
for adult people.
For adults.
Adults. It's like being a fan of I don't know, like
Disney movies or whatever it may be.
Or the Collingwood Football Club. Say.
Just being a fan. They're fans.
Do these people have anything to do with? Sometimes they get followed by My Little Pony sex bots on.
Yeah,
Twitter?
I think it can.
Is it sexy?
Can be.
I don't know.
It can
Yeah,
be.
I think it can be. Like anything can be.
I think there's like My Little Pony fan fiction, erotic fan fiction.
Yeah.
Ponies be fucking.
Yeah, but I mean, there's erotic fan fiction.
My
for
Little
everything.
Boner.
So erotic fan fiction of this podcast. That's when you know you've made it. That is what.
Oh
I'm
my
saying.
god, yeah.
No, but we'll end up having sex with each other. You understand? So.
Can't wait to read about
yeah,
it.
it's just written down. We don't actually have to have sex with each other.
Oh, is that how fan fiction works?
But thanks so much for being disgusted by the idea of having sex with any of us. Thank you.
That's hurtful, mate.
Yeah, I got qualities.
You've got qualities.
Well, you don't think Jess has qualities? That's laughable to
Hey,
you,
Matt,
is it?
I'd have sex with you.
I'd have sex with you, Jess. You too, Dave.
Thanks, mate. You're my brony.
Well, don't go there, mate. That disgusts me.
That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, that's...
None of that, thanks.
Anyway, back to Madame Curie. Maria, as she was known then, was unable to enroll in any Polish universities because she was a woman. So she and her sister Brony started studying at the underground secret uni, the Flying University. So
The Flying University.
they started studying. Imagine if you went to a uni in secret and you weren't getting any cred for it.
You just wanted to learn.
Just wanted to
Learn
learn.
how to
See,
fly?
I just wanted to get a degree because I thought I should.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I went to uni.
But you wouldn't get
So
the degree.
back then, you would have been like, no pressure.
I would have been like, sweet, I'll
Sweet,
stay at
what
home.
do I do? Got to stay at home, yeah. I'm
Find a
up for it.
husband, no problem. Jokes. I'm really unattractive. And have nothing to offer. Can't find a husband.
Maria then made a deal with her older sister Brony. The deal was that Brony would go to university in Paris, where women were allowed to study, and Maria would stay home and work to support her financially, spending every penny she made. Then, when Brony finished, she would do the same for Mary. So they do like a swap thing.
What a good team.
It's pretty nice, isn't it? So, Mari, I'm just going to call her that from... I'm going to call her Mara from now on. She later changed her name when she moved to Paris. But anyway, she worked as a governess to support her sister, who then studied medicine in Paris. Murray hated the work, but whilst working as a governess for relatives of her father, she fell in love with their son, Kazimierz Zarowski.
Wait, the child that she was looking after.
No. So, the people that were related to the family she was working for, which is related to her as well. So she fell in love with a man that she was vaguely related to, but his parents... Hot.
That's hot.
Love is hot.
You know what gets me going? Love. The idea of love. The idea of being loved. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
So sexy.
my motor's
All right, guys, it's not that kind of podcast, right? Let's take it back a notch.
Oh, God.
A bit X-rated over here.
Oh, my God. The fan fiction, not even fiction.
I just love being valued and loved. Respected. Oh, so good.
Stop it. I respect you.
Oh, yeah.
Respect me.
Oh, baby. But this guy, Kazimierz, his parents rejected the idea of him marrying a penniless relative, and they couldn't get married. He would go on to be a famous mathematician in his own right. And according to Robert Reed's biography of Curie written in the 1970s, this is a quote, "Still as an old man and as a mathematics professor at Warsaw University, Kazimierz would sit contemplatively before the statue of Marie Curie, which had been erected in 1935. That's a bit sad, isn't it? He would just sit there and look at the statue of this now world-famous woman.
That he once loved.
40 years later, yeah.
40 years.
But he had a family of his own. I did look into him, so he did, and he was a very famous Polish math guy, but still pretty sad, right?
That's if that's true, he was not happy, right?
No, not at all.
Well, he was jealous.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm gonna sit and watch the thing. Like, there's got to be a better way of dealing with it, sir.
So
Look at something else.
read a newspaper.
Go do some maths.
Maybe he was just sitting there watching the pigeons shit on it.
Oh.
Yeah, going, yeah.
Take that.
Take that, your left eyelid.
Take that, Hitler.
Cop that, Hitler.
Cop that.
So Marie's sister Brony, a few years had passed, and she'd married a Polish doctor in Paris.
How do you spell Brony, by the way?
Bronie.
Oh, that is the same spelling, I think, as the My Little Pony
I'm
fans.
not sure. Brony.
And that's a nickname. She's got.
Oh, no, it's probably the Y.
She's got a longer Polish
She
name.
goes by Brony. Okay,
But that's
sorry.
what they called her.
So she married a doctor.
And she'd become a doctor herself, and then she invited Marie to join them. She had nearly given up on her dream because she was a bit older. She was in her mid-20s, and she was like, oh, maybe I've missed out on going to uni myself. But her sister really encouraged her, and but she had needed to wait another 18 months to save up money to go to Paris and go to the university. So, and all this time that she's been working as a governess, she was studying and reading and self-educating herself to get ready for the course. So she's finding textbooks, going to libraries and stuff like that.
She just wants to learn.
No, she loves to learn.
She just wants to discover penicillin.
But they won't let her.
They just won't let... In 1891, at age 24, she went to Paris to study at the University of Paris, commonly known as the Sorbonne. Have you heard of the Sorbonne? It's a famous sort of institution. By then, she'd been away from formal study for 6 years, and she hadn't had any training in understanding rapidly spoken French. So it was a big learning curve to go to lectures where people are firing French at you. What she did was she lived with her sister for a time, with her husband, before renting a cramped attic garret closer to the uni than the 1 hour carriage from her sister's apartment. So every day she'd go on a horse-drawn cart for an hour and then go back. So she went closer. But she had no money. She studied all day and tutored others at night to try and make some money.
Jeez.
She could barely afford to eat and lived on a diet of water and bread, and sometimes fainted from hunger. Tough way to learn, man. They talk about that. If you don't have a good breakfast, kids can't learn.
Over in Paris, though, bread's a big part of the diet anyway.
Love bread.
Yeah.
So
I love bread.
Fuck, she was lucky.
And water.
I used to think that as a kid, like, because you know how they say that you just got bread and water in prison? I'd be like, I could handle that.
Yeah.
I love bread.
Come at me.
Is it crusty?
Oh man, imagine
bread
it's like
with
a nice,
butter.
like a bit of crusty
Straight out of
bread
the
roll.
oven?
Like it's crusty on the outside but soft on the inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
What are you going to dip it in a bit of... I imagine they have soup there as well. They just haven't told us the whole story. A bit of soup.
Obviously.
Entree.
At worst case, no. Bit of dip.
Oh, yeah.
What
do you go?
Bit of hummus.
Hummus.
Bit of tzatziki.
Yeah, tzatziki. Big tzatziki fan.
Oh.
Maybe a bit of, like, special occasions you could get some roasted capsicum.
Oh. Yeah, now we're talking
Or
turkey.
beetroot and mint.
Oh, beetroot, I'm in. Avocado.
Mmm.
Oh.
Guacamole.
Spring onion.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Fuck, I don't know what I was going on about that for. She
Yeah,
was having a
she's
she's
fine.
having a great time in Paris.
she's great. She's A-okay. Everything's coming up, Mari.
She was having a great time. She was enjoying the cold of the attic in winter that was so intense at night she had to pile on everything she had
So good.
so she could stay warm and stay alive.
I love that.
Great
I love snugging up.
Yeah, just have a
It's
little
the
snug.
best. Snugging.
Hey, you know what's a great thing
not a
is
thing,
having
is it?
half a piece of bread, then putting on all your clothes and going to bed. How good's that?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
man. I might do that when I get home tonight.
Fuck, I'm doing it right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
you are
is.
too.
Fuck, I'm good.
Look how snuggly he looks.
Oh, God.
Hey, any room under that blanket?
Oh, come on over.
Ooh.
Let's do the rest of the podcast from inside
Yeah.
this giant beanbag.
Inside the beanbag.
Yeah.
All right.
Unorthodox, but I like it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
warm.
he's wearing that beanbag.
Beanbag boy.
Those little white balls have gone everywhere.
You're going to have to vacuum that up.
I refuse.
Can you vacuum them?
Yeah, you must.
Anyway, so she persisted during these harsh times, and 2 years later, in 1893,
She discovered penicillin.
not quite, but she was
Oh.
awarded a master's degree in physics as the year's top student. So top student.
Physics. She discovered
2 years.
physics.
Remember,
I think I've got it.
and remember, she wasn't good.
Porsche.
She invented Porsche.
She invented Porsche. She invented the
No,
Porsche.
she discovered Porsche.
I call it the 911.
This is going to be a good name for a while, and then
Then it's
turn
going to
of the
get, it's gonna
millennium.
get a little bit
yeah,
awkward,
It's going to be a bit awkward, but
but we won't change the name.
whatever.
But she was the year's top student, which I found amazing. Like 2 years after not being able to speak much French, and suddenly the top girl.
Gosh, she
All
just
guy
wants
in
to
whole class.
learn. I love it. I just didn't want to learn at uni. Look
What-
at me though. I haven't discovered penicillin, have I?
No, that's right.
Neither
I mean,
has
that's,
she.
that's how it happens.
If you discovered penicillin, I'd be talking about you right now.
I wouldn't be on this fucking podcast, that's for sure.
Mari started working in an industrial laboratory under Professor Gabriel Lippmann, the man that would invent colour photography.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's great.
She continued to study. In 1894, was awarded a second degree, this time in mathematics, as the year's second best student.
Ooh.
Top two,
That's
top
gotta
two.
hurt.
Einstein #1.
That will annoy her for the rest of it. No, it won't. It won't. After she graduated, Mari was looking for a larger lab space to carry out her own work, and a friend introduced her to a man that she thought had such a space. Turns out he didn't have any lab space at all, but that man was Pierre Curie, and the two got along very well.
Oh, a bit of sizzle there.
Yeah.
He was 8 years
Were
older
they
than-
related? Because they had the same surname.
She's still a Sklodowski at this stage.
Oh, that's confusing. Even bigger coincidence.
It is amazing. Well, she did try and marry that family member earlier on in the piece. Let's not forget that.
That's a good point.
This handsome young suitor, Pierre Curie, was 8 years older than her.
That's hot.
And already known internationally as a physicist.
So, how old is she at this stage? How old are they? What year is this?
So she
No,
is...
the one we're in now.
Oh, what? You there? What age is this? 27 she is. He's 35.
Yeah, it's a good age gap.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
You approve?
It's a good
Right,
gap.
I'll let
I
him
like
know.
a gap.
I'll let him know.
I don't know why. Just shut up, Jess.
Age gap's better than a wage gap.
Well, there's going to be a wage gap with him for most of the time. Pierre was described as a serious idealist and dreamer whose greatest wish was to be able to devote his life to scientific work. He was completely
I
indifferent.
just want to science.
He was completely indifferent to outward distinctions. He had not attended one of the French elite schools, but he'd been taught by his father, who was a physician, and by a second private teacher. So he's making his own way, kind of.
You can go your own way. Did he write that song?
Yes, he is Mick Fleetwood. Their mutual passion for science brought them increasingly closer, and they began to develop feelings for one another.
I wonder what kind.
Hate.
Hatred, mainly bitterness.
Yeah, it's envy. A lot of
Envy.
envy.
She was eating all the bread.
Develop feelings.
Clamminess.
No. They were just very touchy.
Right.
They just touch each other a lot. It was
Yeah.
really weird.
But mainly with pokes. Just
Pokes,
poking.
or they just like place their hands, like open palms on each other's faces.
Just leave it there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, like a long time, an uncomfortably long
And then
time.
write
Yeah.
down in their diary, like in a scientific
Yeah.
experiment, what
Yeah,
the reaction
like
was.
clammy
Developing
hands
them.
on face, that kind of feeling.
Well, Pierre's initial marriage proposal was rejected as Mari thought that she would return to her Polish homeland.
Marriage proposal?
Pierre,
Well, I
however,
thought they were just a couple of scientists doing
Well,
a couple of science things.
Well, they've got some sexy feelings.
Dave, come on.
Pierre declared that he was ready to move with her to Poland, even if it meant being reduced to teaching French.
Oh,
There's no less noble
don't slum it, bud.
position than a French teacher.
Aww.
But Marie returned to Poland to visit her family in 1894 and discovered that the Krakow University would still not let her work or study there, as she was still a woman. Fancy that.
What had she done in all this time?
You've got 2 degrees under your belt and your gender hasn't changed. Can you believe this? Bullshit.
Dave, how do we tell him?
Don't tell me what.
Just you tell him. Is it
First
about
of
his haircut?
Fuck you. It's my main man, Pasquale, did this haircut.
Nah, you tell him, Jess.
I've already had an entire episode ruining the myth of Santa.
Education doesn't change gender.
Do you know
You can't change it.
Do you know how I know that? And do you know who discovered that?
Penicillin.
Mr. Penicillin. Mick Fleetwood.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to get what it is.
Pikelets.
She invented
Come on, Matt.
puffages, those
Sorry,
little
I was
mini...
gonna say.
We're not. It's
Dutch
this isn't
finger.
all fun and games, okay? I really thought it was penicillin.
Puffer J's did just make
Fuck,
me
what
hungry.
is it?
We will get there. So Pierre wrote her a letter and convinced her to return to Paris to pursue her PhD.
Oh, come back to Paris,
PhD.
my little buttercup.
Probably
I'm
spoke like
missing
this.
you so much. Come home.
Him.
Home to Paris. And we can do some science. And we can...
Apologies to our French listeners.
We can get married. This is why I'm no good at improv games, because I crack myself up.
You're like, God, that was hilarious. Sorry, what did you say? I was too busy laughing my own line.
We can do some science. You love the science. Come home to science. I'm jet lagged.
Well, Pierre... You're going to sound like a real traveller because it was 2 weeks ago you were talking about it as well. Well, Pierre, the who we got some direct quotes from.
Pierre.
She invented Pierre.
He's made up.
Possibly. During this time, Pierre had received his own doctorate, was promoted to professor at the school in Paris. She returned to Paris and they were married in July 1895.
Aww.
1895.
Marie's dark blue outfit, worn instead of a bridal gown, would serve her for many years as her laboratory outfit. She'd wear her wedding dress
She's such an eccentric.
while doing science. And she was an atheist too, so no religious stuff going on at their wedding.
Love
Very
it.
unusual for the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Polish people, or the Polish state, is still very Catholic, very Christian.
Her family was Catholic growing up.
Yeah,
that's right.
it's like a super high percentage of Catholics. I think even now, like 90% or something. That might not be real,
But like what that like very
like
high.
very high.
Very high.
It's a very beautiful place, from what I've seen of it too. All them churches and stuff.
I've not been. But I have been to Paris, where Pierre is from.
That's right. Well, outside of science...
Come home to Paris for some science.
Well, she's come home and now they're married. Outside of science, their 2 favourite hobbies were long bike rides
And fucking.
and fucking and overseas travel. They received money for their wedding from her family and spent it on 2 bikes.
No, they could have just got a tandem bike.
I imagine them riding on a tandem, but I think it was 2 separate bikes. In Pierre, Marie had found a new love, a partner, and a scientific collaborator on whom she could depend.
Aww.
Who was it?
She found a
She found it.
found a scientist in him. Cut it out of him.
That was her first discovery. In 1896, Marie passed her teacher's diploma, coming first in her class,
Oh,
back on top.
That's where she belongs.
Then in September 1897, she gave birth to their first daughter, Irene. It was after this that Marie began looking around for a suitable subject for her own doctoral thesis. Insert science time. Okay, so
Science time.
Woo!
Science time with Marie Curie. Hi, welcome back to Science Time with Marie Curie.
I'm Mari.
You can call me Mari.
What are we doing on the show today, Mari?
Today we're inventing penicillin.
Oh, great. I've heard so much about it. You never stop talking about it. Do go on, show us how it's done.
Okay, so I'm just going to give some context for the science at the time. So just a little bit before this, in 1886, a guy called Heinrich Hertz, after which Hertz is named, the unit
It hurts.
the unit of frequency, like
I
Hertz.
thought you meant you were going to say the
The
car.
hire
Not the shitty hire car company.
Shitty?
They're great. I've dealt with Hertz a lot in the recent weeks.
Apologies to the Hertz guys. So there's that guy.
You might have, you know what, you might have, you might have, with those words, you might have hurts their feelings.
That was not worth a high five.
Yeah, it was. You also missed mine where I was like, it hurts, but it's alright.
No, I basically did Jess's joke.
It's okay. Do
Later and better.
So this guy in 1886, he demonstrated the existence of radio waves. That was his big discovery. Then in 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen, a German
Cracking name.
physicist, he discovered X-rays, which would land him the first ever Nobel Prize for physics in 1901. He discovered the...
He died from radiation, right? Is that him? X-ray guy?
Not sure how he died, but Röntgen is a unit of... we would have talked a lot about... it's an old unit for measuring radiation. So like Röntgens is what they were measuring.
1 Röntgens is the amount that kills you, because that's what he had. I might be
Did he
wrong.
die of this?
Definitely early people who was tested on.
No, he died at 77. He was fine.
Oh, just his bloody... Maybe the people he...
Well, the people we're talking about, maybe. So Röntgen, so he won the Nobel Prize. He discovered the ability of radiation to pass through opaque material that was impenetrable to ordinary light. So you usually shine a torch on something and it can't get through. But he discovered if you shine radioactive light, like an X-ray through it, shows what's on the other side. So that's his big discovery. Then third guy, which is the final guy, Henri Becquerel, a French scientist, discovered that uranium was emitting radiation that could pass through foil and darken a photographic plate. So he discovered that uranium's got X-rays, like similar things to X-rays coming out of it. Becquerel's discovery had not aroused very much attention when just a day or so after his discovery, he informed the Monday meeting of the French Academy of Sciences, which I enjoy, they have a Monday meeting.
Oh, it's so good. I imagine they also all have to bring a plate.
Yeah.
Like somebody's brought the ice vovos.
Oh, it's awkward when two people bring the same thing.
Yeah.
Monte Carlos, that's my thing. Fuck.
Curried eggs.
Mate, stick to fairy bread, for fuck's sake.
You do it well, mate.
You're good at it.
Just stick with it. Why you don't have to do the Monte
Make it
Carlos?
greedy.
You don't need to.
Gary does the Monte Carlos and he does them really well. Don't take away Gary's thing.
trying
And
to
we
do
all like your fairy bread.
Honestly, I hardly even recognise these as Monte Carlos. It's sloppy work, mate.
Come
I'm
on.
sorry.
It's
No,
all
don't take it like that, mate. You get back here, young man.
You listen to me when I'm talking to you.
Nah, fair enough. Good on you, mate.
So what he'd done was he'd made this discovery that he was excited about. Then he came back and told everyone about it. And they listened politely, then quickly went on to the next item on the agenda. So they're like, cool story, man. Yep. Anyway, they were excited about Röntgen's discovery of X-rays. So that's what they wanted to talk about. So Röntgen's where it's at. Becquerel, they didn't care about.
Fuck off, Becquerel.
Come on, mate.
But someone who did take notice of Becquerel was our friend, Marie Curie.
Oh.
She decided to make a systematic investigation of these mysterious, quote, uranium rays and go for the topic that no one was talking about. She's like, I'll do a PhD on that. No one cares about that. No one's looking at that. I'll do that. So results were not long in coming. Just after a few days, Marie discovered that thorium gives off the same rays as uranium. She was pretty excited. That's another element, by the way, thorium.
Named
yeah,
after
we know,
the
we know.
Marvel character Thor.
Which is also the Viking word for Thursday.
Also
Thursday.
named after peas that have been out of the freezer for a bit.
Or the feeling of pain if you have a lisp.
My tongue is so Thor. I call it thorium. Pardon? Thorium. One more time just so I can write it down for all of history. Thorium. All right. I'll do it. It's science.
Boom, you got science.
Boom, science. So she discovered that real quick. She then went through the whole periodic system at that time and to try and find if everything has these rays and
There
discovered...
was only 7 things on it at the time. Did you know that?
That's not true. There was 78.
7 out, that's what I meant.
As I said, I think
like
if you wind the
yeah,
tape back,
if you go back to the
it's
tape.
78.
So she went through all 78. Her findings were that of all known elements, only uranium and thorium gave off this radiation. But Pierre, who was doing other stuff with crystals, that was his thing at the time. He was really
I'm
into
playing with
crystals.
the crystals over here. Do not mind me, my little peanut. I love you so much. Where is our daughter Irene?
Oh, let's
Maybe
go.
she would like to see the crystals.
Going into the crystal background. But he was so excited about the idea. He saw Mari having a good old time over there. So he jumped on the bandwagon and he wanted to help her out. So
What is my little butterfly Mary doing? I will help her
You're
with
having
the
such a great
science.
time with this laborious.
that looks way more fun than
Experiment.
crystals. Fuck, I hate crystals. Why did I dedicate my life to fucking crystals? I much prefer thorium.
What was he doing with the crystals? Like checking out their healing powers or something?
He'd invented some machine. You see, he was a brilliant man in his own right. He'd invented some machine early on that could extract stuff from crystals. Which I know.
Sounds like a bullshit thing,
if you're a
Dave.
science guy, it would be cool, but I ain't. I'm a thorium kind of guy.
You're a math man.
You're really milking it, man. All right, just let the joke die, would you?
Her next idea was to study the natural ores that contain uranium and thorium. It was her hypothesis that a new element that was considerably more active than uranium was present in small amounts in the ore. So she's gone through like heaps of pitch blend, and she's like, I reckon there's another element here. So they started to think, her and Pierre, that they had discovered not one, but 2 new elements.
My little Mary, do you think we may have discovered not one, but 2 new elements? Also, would you like a cup of tea? I'm putting the kettle on.
The first element they thought they discovered, here comes the P discovery. Here it comes.
No, wait, I can do this.
Pumpkins.
The first was
No.
a metal that they suggested be called...
Perspex.
Perkins.
Perkins.
It's named-
Plutonium.
it's close to
platinum.
plutonium. They called it...
Aluminium.
Do you want to say it?
No, give us a little bit of it. Polyphonic spree.
Polo.
Marco Polo.
The fragrance.
By Ralph Lauren.
The horse game. Polo.
By Ralph Lauren.
Polo.
They suggest it would be called polonium, named after
That's her big thing.
Marie's homeland, Poland, was what it's named after.
Polonium.
The place that wouldn't even give
That's
her a
still not what I'm
fucking
thinking of.
degree.
And the second thing they discovered, they suggested was a substance that they suggested be called radium. Radium, is that what you were thinking of?
No.
They
What
also...
the fuck was I thinking of?
So they published a report about this, and they also used and coined the word radioactivity for the first time.
Yeah, well, that's something. I've heard of that.
There
They
you go.
coined radioactivity.
You know what else you've heard of? Penicillin.
Yeah. When did she get onto the penicillin
Yeah,
part?
get to the penicillin.
Skip all this baloney, mate. Unless you're going to talk about the
Baloney.
Mari cured meats. But you know, I didn't even notice the connection between her name and cured meats at the time until just then.
Are you serious? That's why I laughed so much.
Then I did notice it. Thank you.
I didn't. I was when you said found the cure.
Yeah, I was just looking
for-
at anyway cure for something.
So they published these findings, but in order to be sure that what they had discovered was in fact new elements, they had to produce them in demonstrable amounts, determine their atomic weight, and preferably isolate them. But to do this, they would need tons of the ore pitch blend that I mentioned, and in order to get, they needed tons of pitch blend to get tiny quantities of polonium and radium. So this was very expensive, but was donated to them, so they're very lucky in that sense. The other problem was that they needed more space to carry out their experiments. The principal of the school, Pierre, taught out let them have use of a large shed, which was not occupied. It was not watertight and often leaked, and it was a hot house in the summer and cold in the winter. So
Sheds. That's what I was thinking of. She invented.
they invented
sheds.
the word shed. A famous
Polonium, come on.
A famous chemist, Wilhelm Ostwald, described their laboratory. This is a quote. At my earnest request, I was shown the laboratory where radium had been discovered shortly before. It was a cross between a stable and a potato shed, and if I had not seen the work table and items of chemical apparatus, I would have thought that I was being played a practical joke. So their workspace is shithouse, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look. It's not a laboratory at all, but they're doing like some very famous sciencey stuff. They were very laborious and got underway separating the tiny elements from the pitch blend. Mari carried out the chemical separations. Pierre undertook the measurements after each successive step. Swooping in to take the credit. Possibly.
Typical man.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, it was very hard work for Marie. She processed 20 kilos of raw material at a time. First of all, she had to clear away pine needles and any debris in the rocks, and then she had to undertake the work of separation. This is a quote from her. Sometimes I had to spend a whole day stirring a boiling mass with a heavy iron rod nearly twice as big as myself. I would be broken with fatigue at day's end. So she's working her ass off.
Is she still only eating a piece of bread?
Yeah, they're not making much money either. Though Pierre's getting paid a little bit more because he's teaching and stuff.
And a man.
But this is... So from 1 ton of pitch blende, they got 1/10 of a gram of radium chloride.
Yeah. Success.
What's the street value of that sort of stuff? Could they unsell it for a tidy profit?
Well, probably. She identified radium's atomic weight as 225. Bang, new element, baby. 225.
Okay, great. And what is that? Is that good?
Yeah, well,
Is 225 a good number?
I reckon. Pretty good.
So now there's 79.
79.
How many are there now? Like 150?
Oh, like
2,000.
112 or something?
112 or something, yeah.
2000.
2000.
Just wondering. Just asking the question.
It had taken 4 years of hard work, and they were teaching as well this whole time. And they'd written 32 papers on the topic between 1898 and
Who's the
1902.
kid?
The kid is... Well, no, I'll talk about the kid.
Yeah, but they have a kid.
They have 2 daughters now.
2. They're spending a lot of time.
In the lab. In the shed.
Oh, boy.
In the shed.
Poor kids, hey? Probably an after-school care, with a nanny or something.
Yeah, we can't afford food, but we've got a nanny.
We've got a nanny.
In June 1903, supervised by Gabrielle Lippmann, Curie was awarded her doctorate from the University of Paris. The committee that examined her thesis had the opinion that the findings represented the greatest scientific contribution ever made in a doctoral thesis.
She really had it all.
Heaps of praise.
That's great.
Like, she hasn't just had personal success and, career success, but then she's also got a family.
Gives a fuck about the family.
She's
What does that
done it
mean
all.
now? Those kids are dead, Jess. They're dead. Let them go. Thuranium lives on. Or whatever the fuck she did.
I lost interest when I found out it wasn't penicillin.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I'm out.
We could do a little... we could do a little addendum at the end and pretend that she would make
Thank
that.
you. Just hurry up and finish. I'm kidding.
I've got a lot more to go.
I'm just kidding.
A little celebration in Marie's honour was arranged in the evening by a research colleague. The guests included a prominent professor at the Sorbonne.
Einstein.
And, not Einstein, but one of the most famous scientists of all time, New Zealand scientist Ernest Rutherford, who was then working in Canada but temporarily in Paris and anxious to meet Marie Curie. If you don't know who that is, I'll tell you. He had good reason to meet her. His study of the deflection of radiation in magnetic fields had not met with success until he had been sent a strongly radioactive preparation by the Curie, so she helped him out. By that time, he was already famous and was soon to be considered the greatest physicist of his day. The element Rutherfordium is named after him.
Rutherfordium.
Rutherfordium.
Oh, another one of the classic ones.
He's known...
Not. I was my face was saying not. I had to say it
You
for
had
the
to say it.
podcast.
Yeah.
He is known as
I didn't want to have to do that, but I had to.
If you
It's very
are
old school.
If you are a nerd, he is like one of the most famous scientists ever. He's the father of nuclear physics.
If
Oh
I
my god, I've never heard of him.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, how embarrassing.
I've never heard of him. If you invented an element, what would it be called?
Methanium? Stuanium?
Methanium?
Meth.
I call it
Methamphetamine.
meth. I call it methamphetamine. Crystal methamphetamines, please.
Is that what the dude was doing with his little crystals?
Yeah, he was trying to make
Hey, you
meth.
made a good
in the 1880s.
math.
Yeah, I'd call it stuanium. What about you?
Are they all? They're not all anium, are they?
No. What about oxygen?
Oh, good question. What?
Well played.
Okay, I see you know who Ernest Rutherford is.
What about
Hydrogen,
What about gold?
Helium,
Is gold on there?
Yeah,
lithium,
gold's on there.
beryllium, boron, carbon,
Silver, bronze,
nitrogen,
all
oxygen,
the metals.
fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium. We learned them at school by singing it. Anyway, I'd probably call it a bloody good time.
Bloody good timing.
Actually, I've changed my mind. I didn't realize you could call it anything. I'd call it Matt Stewart.
I'd call mine Matt Stewart is a fuckhead.
Oh, damn it.
They're next door to each other on the table.
I'm with stupid. That's mine. I have the little arrow.
It's part of the name.
You gotta write it.
I'll never say no to a good bit of promotion, so I call it Do-Go-Onium.
Oh,
You do love
thank
a lot
you.
of promotion. You're a bit of a slut for it.
That's right.
Do go on podium.
Shut up, Matt.
What does that fucking mean? Oh, it's getting late.
It's a pod. That's what
Do go onium.
could do go on podium.
Dugunium.
Podium.
What if it's just davewarnicky.com? That was the name of the element.
No,
That'd be
yeah.
And then you just you have a link to the podcast. That you,
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Yeah,
you've done your bit.
every kid's.
I call mine HTTP
Colon.
//
Whoa, forward slash or backslash?
/ Matt. Jesus.
//
God, Matt.
No one. I mean, everyone
Specify.
knows what the slash is.
He's a guitarist who got the roads.
Anyway, we've got to go back to this. They're having a little celebration for Mari's PhD.
Oh yeah, the topic.
It was a warmish evening, and the group went out into the garden. This is Ernest Rutherford's there, you know, that guy that we all know.
Mm-hmm. Rutherfordium.
Pierre had prepared an effective finale to the day.
Fireworks.
Well, when they all sat down, he drew from his waistcoat pocket a little tube, partly coated with zinc, which contained a quantity of radium salt in solution. Suddenly the tube became luminous, lighting up the darkness, and the group stared at the display in wonder.
Glow sticks. He invented glow sticks.
But in the light from the tube, Rutherford saw that Pierre's fingers were scarred and inflamed, and that he was finding it hard to hold the tube. This is because the Curies had no idea how dangerous radiation they were experimenting with. So they just had a radioactive thing in his pocket, and he was like, "Hey, how cool is this?" And it's like, "No, that's killing you, mate." So they worked without any protective gear or precautions.
So she was the one who got copped it.
I will go on.
I don't think either of us invited you to. But do go on.
Oh, all right.
Meanwhile, a new industry began developing based on radium. The Curies did not patent their discovery and benefited little from this increasingly profitable business. They were against doing so. Pure research should be carried out for its own sake, they thought, and must not become mixed up with industry's profit motive.
Oh, okay. You don't want to feed your kids. Cool.
No,
Yeah.
Don't worry about them.
Do all that hard work.
Fuck your kids. Don't worry about them.
Fuck them.
Whatever.
Pierre described the medical tests he'd been carrying out on himself as well. He had wrapped a sample of radium salts in a thin rubber covering and bound it to his arm for 10 hours, then had studied the wound that it left behind, which resembled a burn.
God.
Day by day, he looked at the wound, and after 52 days, a permanent grey scar remained. So he's a little bit crazy. In actual fact...
Dedicated.
Dedicated. In actual fact, Pierre was quite ill. His legs shook at times. He found it hard to stand upright. He was in much pain. He consulted a doctor who diagnosed something that wasn't what it was because they didn't know what radiation poisoning was, and prescribed him strychnine. The skin on Mari's fingers was cracked and scarred. Both of them constantly suffered from fatigue. They had evidently had no idea that radiation could have a detrimental health effect on their general state. Pierre often carried a sample in his waistcoat pocket to show his friends.
You know what it sounds like they need? A little bit of penicillin.
Yeah.
Eh?
That'll sort out the old girl.
This
Fix
is
you
how
right
they-
up.
Yeah.
Fix you right up. Go
But
invent that, dickhead.
So you said that when he showed his friends, they were like, well, don't do that because it's bad for you. So
No. So they were like, wow. But Ernest Rutherford, the genius, noticed that his hands were sort of looking like they were scarred. Then he was having trouble holding it. So
He
he
wasn't
started
looking well.
wondering, oh, that's a bit weird.
But what? I mean, how could he? Why wasn't he piecing it together himself? I felt shit as soon as I started doing this. I wonder what it is.
I think a lot of it they blamed on the fact that they were working for 4 years in that shitty shed with like no ventilation.
That can scar your fingers.
But like no ventilation and stuff. And I think they were like, oh, it's just chemicals. We're cool, but it wasn't really bad. Mari used to have a little radium salt by her bed that shone in the darkness. So she kind of used radioactive stuff as a nightlight. And it turns out radium has a half-life of 1,602 years, which means it takes that many years in order for the radiation to decrease by half. Right. So it's really strong stuff. But some good news is coming. In 1903, the Curies were jointly awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics, sharing the award with Henry Becquerel, the guy that I mentioned before, that inspired the experiments.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
3 of them got that.
On their deathbed, basically.
No, they're still going well. Well, they're quite sick, but still around.
Not for much longer.
Murray had almost missed out because originally the organisation were going to give the award only to Pierre and Becquerel. But when Pierre discovered this, he wrote to the committee and explained, hey, she's done most of the work here. And they let her be honoured as well. So how bullshit would that have been? They didn't get her. She was the first woman to receive a Nobel Prize.
What a good husband.
Yeah, doing the bare minimum. Good on him.
Yeah. God, we could all be so lucky.
Yeah.
I want to
Saying
find
that I should.
I want to find a man who'll do the bare minimum for me. The dream.
No,
Hey,
that's the
by the
dream.
way,
That's the ticket.
That's the Aussie dream.
surely that is the bare minimum. Going, yeah, she did a lot of the work here. What do you reckon? What do you reckon he could have just let
No,
that
well,
slide on?
he wrote a letter. He could have sent a text.
Oh, yeah, he could have done less.
Could have just Snapchatted it. Like, there's less he could have done.
He probably would have got a second Nobel Prize immediately for inventing text and Snapchat.
Do you know how hard it is to find a stamp? You gotta go to the post office, buy some stamp. You gotta line. There's always a fucking huge line at
Yeah,
the
and this
post
guy can
office.
barely stand up.
So,
Yeah.
okay, Matt.
All right,
Alright,
no,
you
sorry.
went to a lot of effort.
Okay, fine. That's fair enough.
Dave, please do go on.
Well, the Nobel Prize, you'll be pleased to know, alleviated their financial worries. But the Curies now suddenly found themselves the focus of the interest of the public and press.
The celebs.
They're celebs because their love story mixed with the conditions they were under. They discovered 2 new elements, meant they were hounded by journalists.
Aww.
Their health conditions...
Oh, hounded.
This is for you, Matt. Their health conditions were blamed on the cramped shed they'd been working in. So all they wanted was a new, bigger lab to continue their research. Pierre was given a chair at the Sorbonne in 1904, so quite a high position, with the promise of a laboratory. But as late as 1906, it had still not begun to be built. So they're waiting for the lab. They're getting handed by press. They're not enjoying the attention at all. They just want to do science.
I just want to science with my wife.
Well,
Just
then,
want to do science.
on April 19th, 1906, disaster struck.
No.
On that day, Pierre
Earthquake.
Curie...
Unrelated to them, but it was just a bad day.
It's a bad day. I thought I'd mention it.
In Guam.
Well, on that day, 1906, Pierre Curie, a man often lost in his own thoughts, was run over by a horse-drawn wagon in Paris and was killed instantly.
God, even penicillin won't help that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a brutal way to go.
Yeah. Ugh.
How many horses?
I don't
How many is enough?
know. Like, is more than one good?
I think you want to. Yeah, I don't know.
What's the?
I think instantly
premium?
killed is the best result there.
There's got to be at least a couple of horses there, right?
But I mean, that saved him from going through the. He was going to die slowly and agonizingly, so maybe that was for the best.
Ugh.
Have they ruled out suicide yet?
The investigation is ongoing.
Jessica, don't laugh at suicide.
But now Mari was left alone with 2 daughters, Irene, aged 9, and Eve, aged 2. And after a period of intense grieving, she was...
Good evening.
Good evening, Governor.
Grieving. Oh, fuck. I meant to say, after a period of intense grieving, she was appointed to succeed Pierre as the head of the lab, being undoubtedly most suitable and to be responsible for his teaching duties. She thus became the first woman ever appointed to teach at the Sorbonne.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
She got a promotion through tragedy. With her oldest daughter Irene now 9, her circle of friends consisted mainly of a small group of professors with children of a similar age. So Mari organised a private school with the parents themselves acting as teachers. So there was a group of some 10 children accordingly taught only by prominent professors.
Wow.
So this little group became a kind of school for the elite with a great emphasis on science. The experiment lasted 2 years, but then they got older and they had to go to normal secondary school. That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool. That's a good little basis
They would
for the
be-
kids.
Yeah.
And they are going to do quite well, which I will mention at the end of the show.
They
Well,
became the Tin Lids.
What does that mean?
the Tin Lids.
They were a band.
Well, Jimmy Barnes'
Jimmy
kids.
Barnes' kids. What a band. I don't know.
They did a Christmas album. It was the worst thing ever,
Oh,
but also adorable.
potentially. I'm not sure if that was really funny or not. It
I
felt
think that's very funny. Because leading up to Christmas, I played the Tin Lids Christmas album on the radio.
Tin Lids because it's rhyming slang for kids.
Oh, Tin Lids Kids.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I think that's what.
That's what Barnesy would have wanted.
Was Barnesy in that group of?
Yeah, it was Barnesy.
Because
Because
that
otherwise
was
it doesn't make
Barnsley's
sense.
That's what Barnsley
Oh,
was.
we are recording this one late in the evening. If you can't tell,
We're getting there. We are
been
getting
very silly.
there.
I have been nothing but a professional.
Oh no, so yeah.
One of my most professional.
You are.
officers.
You've been too professional. A little bit.
Loosen up, mate.
Take off the fucking tie.
I like it.
In 1908, Marie, as the first woman ever, was appointed to become professor at the Sorbonne. She finally isolated radium in metallic form and in 1911 was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry,
Holy fuck!
making her the only woman in history to win twice and the only person ever to win in multiple sciences.
What a
Only
legend!
ever.
Only person ever. Chemists consider that the discovery and isolation of radium was the greatest event in chemistry since the discovery of oxygen. Boom, and I'm gone.
I like.
I love how oxygen was discovered.
What's that?
Oh, that felt good. Ooh. What do I do?
Hey,
A big
I've
one.
noticed if I stop doing this, it hurts.
It hurts.
Sometimes I black out.
No, I just fight through the pain. You feel good.
That's just your cramped workspace.
Just blame it on the fucking shed. So things are going well for Marie now after tragedy. But Marie Curie began to feel the inconsistency of the right-wing French press, which often criticised her for being a foreigner and an atheist.
French press is also just a type of coffee. so not worth it.
I was biting my tongue before. What was what was the blend thing? Pitch blend. I was like a couple of times like it's a coffee. It's a coffee. Don't.
Don't, oh no,
It's a
don't.
coffee.
Don't. That's silly.
So some of the things written about her were absolutely horrible.
Can I guess what they are?
What do you reckon?
The first thing that comes to mind is somebody's called her a pig woman.
Oh.
I don't know why that came to mind.
So I would have called her a godless, a godless woman. It would have been all about being a female foreigner.
Not
A
French.
godless Pole. I bet they said that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that in just a second, but I will say in 1911, the French Academy of Sciences did not elect her to be a member by 1 or 2 votes. They voted who got to be a member, despite the fact that she'd received 2 Nobel Prizes and discovered 2 of the only
Amazing.
80 elements known at the time.
Yeah, well,
that is-
Jerry has a beach house, and he said,
He said, we can all go there whenever we fucking want.
and his mum's going to drive us. So, sorry, Mari.
You know what? Yeah, I'm voting with Jerry too.
Fuck it. I'm with Jerry. Jerry. She went to Belgium to attend a conference, and another smear campaign started in the press. Now it was a matter of her private life and her relations with her colleague Paul Langevin, who had also been invited to the conference. He had had marital problems for several years and had moved out from his suburban home, and Murray was depicted as the reason. Both were described in very slanderous terms. So the Langevin scandal escalated into a serious affair that shook the university world in Paris and the French government at the highest level. At the same time, the papers did not report of her winning a second Nobel Prize or just put it in a few... So she's on the front page for, this alleged affair at the same time as winning her second Nobel Prize, but then not
Amazing.
reporting on that.
So weird.
So day after day, Mari had to run the gauntlet in the newspapers. An alien, a Polish woman, researchers supported by our French scientists had come in and stolen our honest French woman's husband. So you were pretty right about what they were calling her.
Predictable. The bloody
So,
press. You
sorry.
journalists are all the same, Jess.
Nothing about pig women, though.
There was no.
Just to clarify.
What's French for pig?
Pog.
Pog.
Le
Pog.
Pog.
Le pog. Le pog woman.
Le pauvre woman.
Sorry again to the French people listening. Jesus.
Sorry again. Then there was a burglary in Langevin's apartment. Certain letters were stolen and delivered to the press, and this added fuel to the sensational articles they were writing. There was no proof of the accusations made against Marie, and the authenticity of the letters could be questioned, but still her post as professor at the Sorbonne came into doubt. So they started saying, maybe you shouldn't be a professor here.
Oh.
Marie returned home to find an angry mob at her house and had to stay with her daughters at a friend's house for safety.
Oh, that sucks.
Bloody hell.
But with their pigs at the friend's house.
Possibly.
Was
Excellent.
Karl Lagerfeld there?
Well, the German designer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that who she was having an affair with?
No, Langevin.
Oh.
So Langevin, the man accused of being the lover, had been repeatedly insulted, so much so that he felt forced to challenge Gustav Terry, the editor of a newspaper that printed the letters, to a duel.
No.
Challenged him to a duel.
No, that doesn't happen.
Fighting a duel was a usual way of obtaining, quote, satisfaction in France at the time, although it was very scarce in academic circles. So usually
no
you
shit.
don't have these super nerds going, I challenge you to a duel. Newspaper publishers who had come up against each other in this dispute had already fought duels. Swords were generally used, and a duelist was usually content with inflicting a thorough scratch on his opponent for the duel to be considered decided.
A thorough scratch.
But fatal accidents had occurred, so people had killed each other in duels over this.
Oh my god.
Really? People having a sword fight and people had died.
But Langevin, he didn't want
Okay.
swords, he asked for pistols.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Still wanting just a significant scratch?
Just a scratch. Pew! Oh, shit.
But a flesh wound.
The
Jeez,
duel,
but a scratch.
it was pistols at a distance of 25 metres. It was to take place on the morning of November 25th. Terry, the newspaper guy, did not raise his pistol. Langevin, who had already first raised his, then lowered his and backed out. So
Oh
no
my
shot was fired. So no
God.
one shot at each other.
Pussies.
But raising it first means you win? Or is it like being in sales where the last person to...
Well, I don't know if there's a winner, but I feel like the guy who didn't lift his gun is more of a badass because the other guy's lifted his gun and aimed it at you, and you've gone whatever.
kill me? All
More
right,
of a
I will.
badass or more of a coward?
I don't know.
But he's
More
still
of a
standing
pig.
there, right? So I don't know. But I guess, yeah, not doing it means that the other guy's not going to shoot you because you're not a threat to him. It's an interesting tactic.
It's hard. It's hard.
I'll remember that when I'm in a duel.
But, I mean, if you've said challenged you to a duel with pistols and then you don't shoot him, what's the point, mate? It's wasting our time.
Well, that's what the press started even reported on that and said it was just a waste of time and a farce. Then we got poor Marie.
Would it have been legal for him to kill him? Is it like at the
I
time?
don't think so.
No. So what's the point of it? That's such a weird
It's
thing.
so weird.
So he would have been done for murder.
Probably.
So then, like, ugh. Idiots. Idiots. This is
Frustrating.
why we
Well done.
can't trust men to do anything. I don't know why I said
Word. Well, it's because it's true.
Well, the Swedish Academy of Sciences in Stockholm, who are the people presenting the Nobel Prizes, asked Marie to not attend the Nobel Prize award ceremony until she had cleared her name. She matter-of-factly replied that she had received the award for her discoveries, not her personal life.
that. Nice.
And they backed down.
And since when do you have to like prove your innocence like that?
No. Marie gathered all her strength and gave her Nobel lecture on December 11th in Stockholm. She declared that she also regarded this prize as a tribute to Pierre.
Aww.
So that was a big thing for her to show up and stand up in front of everyone.
Because he's dead.
Ah.
This enormous effort completely drained her of all her strength. She sank into a depressed state. She was hospitalised and then travelled to England to live with a friend to hide away from the press and recover.
Aww.
A whole year passed before she would work again.
Man, she kicked on for ages. Is she
Yeah.
like glowing in the dark or anything?
Yeah, she's doing amazingly well. And she's going to do even more amazing things. In 1914, World War I breaks out.
Spoiler alert.
She herself took a train to Bordeaux, and the train was overloaded with people leaving Paris for a safer refuge, so they were leaving the city. But what she had done, she had a different reason for her journey. She had with her a heavy 20-kilo lead container in which she'd placed her valuable radium, her stash of the stuff she's been making. She stashed the radium in a bank vault in Bordeaux and then went back to Paris. So most people are leaving, and she was like, no, I just want to look after my radium.
Oh, imagine she'll get sweet rent now because she was having to be in that little cold place. Now everyone's pissed off.
Oh, she could
Probably get to
live downstairs.
hang in a palace or something.
Big shed.
Yeah.
Curie saw a need for field radiological centres near the front lines to assist battlefield surgeons. So after a quick study of radiology, anatomy, and automotive mechanics, she procured X-ray equipment,
Ooh.
vehicles and generators, and developed mobile radiography units, which came to be known popularly as Petite Curie, or Little Curies. She became the director of the Red Cross Radiology Service and set up France's first military radiology centre.
Where she invented penicillin.
I'm afraid not,
What
but
the fuck did she invent?
it is estimated...
I'm so disappointed
She's
in her.
she's already won 2 Nobel Prizes.
No,
and you
no,
went,
no, I'm not impressed.
Even impressed with it was estimated that over 1 million wounded soldiers were treated with her X-ray
Yeah,
units.
whatever. Invent something good.
Pretty cool.
And did they get radioactive poisoning or whatever? What do you call that thing? The
Radiation poisoning.
Radiation poisoning.
Radioactive
Nothing was in
poisoning.
small enough units to not kill people.
So they'd figured that out by now.
No, in her life, she never admitted that she thought that radiation was bad.
Right.
She just didn't know.
She never admitted it.
Yeah, I think that maybe people started questioning it, but then she never said that. In 1921, towards the end of her life, Marie was welcomed triumphantly when she toured the United States to raise funds for research on radium. So there's all this stuff about X-rays and medical stuff and using radiation to treat cancer and stuff, so that she's starting up that kind of stuff. Marie rarely granted interviews, but did so to a prominent American female journalist known as Missy.
Oprah Winfrey.
Well, she's got a sweet name. She's just called Missy. Mary Maloney, Missy, who organised one of the largest and most successful research funding campaigns the world has ever seen. So they wanted to raise money to get more radium to do experiments.
Good job, Missy.
This is weird. In 1921, US President Warren G. Harding received her at the White House to present her with 1 gram of radium collected in the United States. So it'd be to
What?
imagine a president handing someone radioactive material. There you go.
It's kind of like somebody giving us a podcast.
Here you go.
Gee, thanks. I already have so many.
Oh, no,
at home.
she wanted more. No, she did want more. That was what they were raising money for, yeah.
Oh, it's just a joke, Dave.
Well,
We want more podcasts too, Dave.
yeah, please
Fucking
hand them
figure
in.
it out, mate.
She toured universities, became the recipient of some 20 distinctions in the form of honorary doctorates, medals, and memberships in academies.
Membership to a local civic video,
Ooh.
Ooh.
The Rotary Club.
Costco.
And,
2-for-1 deals at grilled burgers.
Pretty good.
Apex. The Lions Club. All the old men
All
clubs.
the good ones, yeah.
Curie visited Poland for the last time in early 1934 and died from leukemia in July 1934 at age 66. So she made it to 66.
Oh, and it was leukemia. 66. Same age as our man from a few weeks ago.
Oh, the 66
The
Club.
66 Club. Let's
Not as cool
start
as the
it.
69 Club, but 66. She was interred at a cemetery in southern suburbs of Paris alongside Pierre. And then 60 years later, in 1995, in honour of their achievements, the remains of both were transferred to the Pantheon in Paris. She became the first woman to be honoured with interment in the Pantheon for her own merits.
Oh, that's nice.
What were other people?
Just plus ones.
Oh, yeah. Wives of kings and stuff like that.
Ones.
Yeah, before he died, he said I could be his plus one. Oh, okay. Well, come on in. Oh, I'm not dead yet. Oh, this is awkward. Dug the hole. Because of their levels of radioactive contamination.
This has been my favourite episode yet. I think my beach house joke may have been the best joke I've ever said.
Are you laughing at that?
No, I was laughing at you, and then I was just thinking, this is fun.
Jess basically just said, just laughing at a thing I said earlier.
No, I didn't.
Remember that thing I said 15 minutes ago? How fucking funny was that?
I was laughing at you like, I've already dug the hole. That's funny.
Thank
It's
you.
no beach house.
Well, of course. It's not even on the scale. Beach houseium is what this element that we've discovered will be called. Because of their levels of radioactive contamination, her papers from the 1890s are considered too dangerous to handle.
Me paper's all radioactive.
Oh, no. Even her cookbook is highly radioactive. Her papers are kept in lead-lined boxes, and those who wish to consult them must wear protective clothing and sign a form saying they accept the risks of handling materials.
That's
pretty cool.
awesome. What was its shelf life again?
1,600 years half-life.
Half-life, yeah.
Uh,
Half shelf.
we're just going to quickly go through a little legacy and then what her kids did to wrap up. She left a huge legacy, has been honoured in many ways. Poland and France declared 2011 the year of Marie Curie.
Well, I mean, it was a bit late.
And the United
Could've
Nations
been dead a long
declared
time.
that would also be the International Year of Chemistry, so 5 years ago, guys. The element with the atomic number 96 was named curium in honour of her and her husband. So that's probably another one you haven't heard of. That's on the table,
that's
curium,
nice.
named after them. In 2007, a metro station in Paris was renamed to honour both of the Curies. Several universities are named after her and her husband, and her Paris lab has been preserved as the museum, or Musée Curie. She's been featured on Polish banknotes, and the old 500 franc note in France before it was replaced by the euro had her face on it.
Oh, that's cool.
But my personal favourite is an African stamp from Mali, Togo and Zambia, meant to honour Curie, actually showed a picture of the actress Susan Mary Fronczak, who was portraying her in a photo. So they accidentally put a photo of the actress on their stamp.
That's
I
great.
love that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
That is a fun fact.
Is that a fun fact?
Yeah.
Perhaps her biggest legacy is her family, many of whom became famous scientists. The Curie's daughter,
We're going to know some names here.
And
Irene.
penicillin.
Oh, you love. Their daughter Irene, together with their husband Frederick, won the 1935 Nobel Prize for Chemistry for their discovery of artificial radioactivity.
Oh my god.
Their two children are both esteemed scientists, so
Oh
her,
wow.
her grandchildren.
So that was she one of the kids in that super gang?
Yeah.
Yes, one of the super gang went
The
on to be a
Tin Lips.
Nobel Prize winning.
No kidding. That's great.
The Curie's second daughter, Eve, the younger one, did not become a scientist but did write a famous biography of her mother. And her husband, Henry Lebois, was the director of UNICEF when it won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1965.
Oh wow.
Nobel Prize is coming out there bloody
Yeah.
wazoo.
And he accepted the award at the ceremony. Amazing. So, and Eve also lived to be 102, which I thought was quite impressive.
Wow.
She didn't become a scientist, but
Yeah,
she
she's a
didn't get
disappointment, but
weird radioactive early death. So
Sadly, no. Exactly.
pros and cons.
Swings, roundabouts.
Yeah.
Now, the weirdest one and the final note is Paul Langevin, you know, the guy that Mary was accused of having an affair with.
Yeah.
the fashion designer.
Karl Lagerfeld.
Karl Lagerfeld. His grandson, Mikkel, who was also a nuclear physicist, and the granddaughter of Marie, Helene, also a nuclear physicist, got married.
Aww.
So the granddaughter of the person she had grandson of the person she had an affair with, and her granddaughter got together,
That's nice.
So she did have an affair.
got married. Alleged, not sure. And their son, this is the final thing, is also a famous astrophysicist. So the family is
Ooh.
crazy scientific. But there you go, there you go. Marie Curie, the...
Also, she invented penicillin. Bye.
Yes, she did. I can't confirm nor I can deny. I can deny. But they...
See, nothing in there was the moment I went, oh, that's what I was thinking of. There
Yeah.
was none of that.
But she did a lot of
I
great stuff.
actually knew sweet fuck all about her then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool to know because she's right. I guess one of the most influential scientists and one of the most incredible women I've ever read about. So I
Yeah,
think people
very cool.
should know about her.
What a lady. Good job, Dave.
Thanks everybody.
Sorry that we were dicks, but we always are.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't apologise. You're just gonna do it again next week.
Yeah, we are.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. But if you want to tell us what to be dicks about next week, as always, you can jump on Facebook. Do go on. You find us on there. Twitter. Do go on pod. Email. Do go on pod@gmail.com. You know the stuff by now, or maybe you don't. We have a big hat of suggestions that we
I always dip into.
Matt dips into.
You're in and out of the hat, Dave.
I'm in
Commit
and
to the
out.
hat.
Commit to the hat. I know, but I start reading stuff and I hear about like Marie Curie, and I'm like, I had another topic lined up for this week, and then I started reading about her.
A hat topic?
Yes, it was. It was a hat topic. I'm sorry to betray the hat, but I got excited about her.
Hey, don't apologise for getting excited for knowledge, Dave.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you so
what Marie
much.
Curie would have wanted you to do.
You know what she would have wanted you to do, and that is to give us a 5-star review on iTunes.
How dare you exploit her like that?
No, well exploited.
Well exploited. Everything else is bloody named after her. Why don't we rename the podcast Marie Curie? Go on. What?
Do Marie Curie? No, that's porno, surely.
Whoa. A
So
really,
who
a really
invented
niche porno.
penicillin?
Alexander Fleming, the Scottish scientist.
No, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of embarrassing that Dave got that so wrong.
It's like he just did a whole hour podcast.
I know.
on Marie
That
Curie
actually was from the
penicillin.
hat. Someone suggested, yeah, do the guy that did penicillin. I'm like, yeah, Marie Curie. Bang, I'll do it. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
An hour and a half later.
No,
Here we
no
are.
dice. Anyway.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. Yeah, get in contact if you want to, and we'll see you next week for another delicious. This is probably my last episode focused about radiation, I will say.
Yeah,
Good
that's
call.
2 in a row
Two in a
for
row
you.
for me, yeah. That's sort of how I got onto it, though. It's got fascinated with
Right.
radiation. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Penicillin.